Welcome back, family, to another edition of the Cozy Corner Crazies. I am your favorite crazy, Chris J. Now, here's the deal, guys. You know that we talk about mind, body, and spirit wellness, and today is going to be no different. As promised, I told you that I was going to take a special trip, and I am here. So, behind me is the amazing Chattahoochee River here in Helen, Georgia. Now, this trip was very significant for me. I have a lot of memories here, and this is one of like my top happy places. And so unfortunately I have shared this happy place with other people, and that memory was starting to get tainted. You'll remember in my last video I talked about the whole PTSD thing, and I'll be able to get into that a little bit more specifically in another recording, because it's just going to be like a whole thing about my diagnosis. But essentially it comes along with a lot of flashbacks and a lot of unwanted memories and nightmares, and you get the shakes, hence all of my anxiety that was happening from before. So I have gotten better with that and learned better tools, but it's still a process. And so my intention behind this trip was to kind of create new memories for myself and remember that I am happy, and my happiness doesn't depend on anyone else, and I don't need to compare myself to anyone else. And happiness can come from within. And so that was my main intention behind all of this. But I wanted to share a few things about what I did while I was out here. So I bought this necklace here, and the pendant, obviously I was introduced to it by, I'm not sure if you guys are as old school as I am, but Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the original one. Yeah, so Angel gave Buffy a ring that looked like this, and I got the pendant to kind of renew and represent what I'm trying to do in my own life right now. So it's two hands holding up a heart with a crown on top of it, and essentially what it is, it means love, friendship, and loyalty. And so these are the three promises that I am kind of like working on in myself right now. I want to make sure that I love myself, and I want to make sure that I'm my own friend, and I want to make sure that I'm loyal to myself, making sure that I stand to my values and not compromising what I believe in just because of acceptance or affirmation. And so it's going to be a long journey, but I am ready to take that next step into a new beginning and starting over. Hence, my second piece of jewelry right here. That is a moonstone representing new beginnings, and of course trying to keep my mental stability and keep my emotional stability, and also my purple amethyst ring, which is representing mental clarity and serenity. And so like I'm just like full of positive and loving and stable energy right now. So that's the goal. Okay, that's what we were going with. And so I'm super excited that I got to do this recording here. It was very important that the beginning of what we were trying to start with the new confessions was done in a place that was significant for me, and this place is extremely significant for me. And so there was also something else that I wanted to share with you guys, just a little kind of like symbolic piece of what I was trying to do as far as starting over and introducing the intro to the new confessions. And so when I was talking to my therapist, when I was talking to my support group about what I wanted to do when I came out here, they absolutely supported it. They thought it was an amazing idea. And so what I ended up doing was that I took rocks from the place that I was staying at, which was a beautiful mansion. And obviously we'll get into more detail about that later on in the further recordings. But so what I did was that I took these rocks and then I wrote things on them. This one says anxiety, and this one says trauma. Obviously there are more rocks. I didn't want to like bore you with all of the details about how many rocks I had, but those are the two that I felt like were at the top of the list right now for me. And so I just decided that while I was here, I was just gonna throw them in the river and let the river take them. And so I'll do that. I'm going to be getting on the little rafting thing that it takes you around the Chattahoochee River, and I'm just going to be sitting on a raft, and I'll be discarding the rest of the rocks while I do that. But amazing trip so far. I'm so happy, and I just feel like it's just continuing to just overflow, and I just feel so overwhelmed. And so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and begin the intro. So we are calling these confessions from the BHT mansion. And so BHT representing behavioral health therapy, and it was quite literally a mansion. It was not a hospital. I was not hospitalized. I didn't get the booty juice. You know, I wasn't under 24-hour surveillance. It wasn't anything like that. I was not in a crazy nut house, okay? This was just a simple healing retreat that I needed for myself to go get some clarity and to deal with the biological imbalance that was happening in my brain and my body. And so, here we go. When you hear the term mental health, what comes to mind? The padded room, the straitjacket, the mindless zombies. What if I told you that I struggled with mental health? Would you believe it? How could I, right? I'm beautiful, successful, 3.96 GPA in school for psychology as a straight A student. Sorry, that's me. Well, guess what? Yeah, that's me. I am. Along with so many others who they have their own stories to tell. Not all those who struggle with mental health are broken, poor, homeless, or drug addicts. Different levels of education and experience or social economic status. Some have successful sobriety, others with their continued journeys in healing through trauma. Trauma, you ask? Good question. Trauma is an emotional, psychological response to a disturbing event or situation. Not all events will cause trauma. It can be short-term or long-term, and it can be physical. So it can be like bodily harm, like your body can start changing. Symptoms include helplessness, dissociation, lack of memory, concentration, worldview, denial, anger, PTSD. Some of the reactions short-term include shock, denial, and long-term, they include mood swings, relationships, or flashbacks, which is what I'm currently having also, okay? And so more reactions to, trauma and PTSD, and what that looks like is fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, which fawn, a lot of people don't really know what that one means. That one is just simply passive people pleasing. So like if we are constantly trying to people please and constantly trying to make people happy or step out of our comfort and our respect to be accepted and affirmed in someone else. Join me on a journey to shed light in the darkness, clarify the confusion, and create awareness in the battle and the war zone that is the mind. It is going to be an insight of emotional attachment, psychological addictions, and understanding the prison of pain that we create out of our own brokenness. What else is there left to say? Feel free not to judge, criticize, or attack the struggles and the triumphs of those mentioned in these illustrations who could easily be a loved one, a friend, or a neighbor. Trauma and pain and brokenness has no preference. Darkness and destruction linger in every corner. The navigation of life has many destinations, and no matter where we come from, there is no guarantee where we'll end up. For us, our journeys brought us to the same place. These are the confessions of the BHT mansion. And so I am super excited to launch this series. You'll be able to catch and follow the words at confessions.life, and of course the summaries of the videos of certain topics. We won't pull out all of them because there are several chapters and several parts of the series, and so I'm not gonna do videos on all of them. Instead, I will do videos that will compile a few of them or just highlight the main ones that I felt like were most important. But you'll be able to follow all of the words and all of the parts of the series at confessions.life, and I'm super excited for you guys to catch that. You'll also have those informations and the details of the link below, and you'll be able to check that out. You'll be able to share it and subscribe. If you subscribe to confessions.life, you will actually get an email every time something is sent out or something is posted. So you won't even have to worry about going back in there and looking at it or anything. It will send you an email directly every time I post something. And the same thing with the YouTube channel. You'll be able to like and subscribe and share, and every time I post something, it'll just pop up in your feed. So I'm super excited for you guys to join in on this journey. I am going to enjoy the rest of this trip and just really get in tune with myself and really get in tune and what it looks like to start a new beginning. And I'm really hoping that I can be an encouragement for you all, because here's the deal, guys. Talking about this stuff and getting real with it, it's been a long, ongoing journey of trying to not feel guilty and not feel shameful. And when you talk about these things, or even when you go through them, especially for somebody like me, I'm in school for psychology. I have all the tools, and it was just a lot of things that became out of my control, and there was really nothing that I could do about that, unfortunately. And so it made me feel really guilty and really shameful. However, I have realized that there is a huge difference between reading it in a book and going through it yourself. Hence, why the blog is set up the way that it is, the professional explanations versus the personal experience. So I am honored to have, whether it's 1 follower or 1 million followers, I have a lot of people who support this, who are not subscribed, and it's just an amazing feeling to be loved in this. I've had a lot of people who have rejected me and a lot of people who have kind of pushed me aside because there are things inside of me that I can't control. And where I can't control them, I am also not a victim, ladies and gentlemen. We are not victims of society. We do not deserve to be pushed aside. We deserve to be loved and to have compassion and to be cared for. And even in all of that, still trying to navigate how to have love for people and how to still be kind and still be loving. I don't want to be a resentful person. I'm not going to make people pay for the pain that I've gone through. And so that is what I give to you. Stay encouraged, my friends. You are loved and you are appreciated. Don't ever let anybody make you feel like you're worthless. Don't let anyone make you feel like you have to step out of yourself or to compromise your values simply for acceptance and affirmation. You are loved and you are appreciated and you are a diamond in the rough. You shine brighter than a diamond, and you can choose that for yourself. Sometimes it's going to take extra accountability, like counseling and therapy and support groups, medications. We are advocates for whatever form of accountability that you need. We are not here to diagnose you, and we definitely don't encourage self-diagnosis. If you feel like any of this relates to you, then it is important that you get a second opinion. You go out there and you get some support and you get some help by like-minded people who will understand what you're going through. The idea is to not do this journey alone. I know that we want to isolate and we want to just stay to ourselves and we don't want anybody to deal with our drama. Well, guess what? That's not the right way to do it, because if you isolate and then you're alone, the only person that you're going to be able to deal with and the only person that's going to deal with you is you. And I don't know if you figured it out like I figured it out, but ourselves, when we're emotional, don't really make the right choices. And so I encourage you, get out there, get some friends, get some support, get some medication if you need to temporarily. There's no shame in that. And don't ever let anyone make you feel like you're less than because you need these things in your life. Don't forget, friends, you are loved. We appreciate you, and we hope that you'll stay tuned for the rest of the confessions from the BHT Mansion. Bye!